All right, we are live and back. It is Wednesday, April 8th. And wow, the market has changed just a little bit, right, guys?
Oh, was there
Well,
news?
well, first of all, we're still here, okay? The world is still,
Yes.
That's
there's
right.
something to positive.
Yeah. Well, I think it's all potentially positive. We'll see. I mean, everything remains to be seen. However, I look at oil. Oil plummeted,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
that's expected.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
were you going to say, Michael?
Bonehead move by me. It's probably my biggest regret of the year by far. I was watching oil, and then I got a call, and I had to handle something. So I started handling it, and I looked at my clock, and I'm like, oh, it's 7:30. This is going to be a last minute thing anyway. I got to check in at 7:45 to see what's going on. So I finished everything that I was doing and didn't stress, popped in at 7:45 and saw at 6:37 that was the announcement, and that it was already down below 90. And I was like, missed opportunity.
Oh yeah. Yep.
I was
Massive.
upset with myself.
But there's going to be more opportunities. I mean, how often has it gone up and down?
Daily.
No, I agree. This was almost like a free. It was like a free handout. You just had to show up.
Yeah,
Yes.
you're right. And I'll tell you, I didn't show up either. I was really tied up doing other stuff, and I knew
Yep.
that oil was either going to go up or down depending on what happened. But I
Exactly.
didn't. When that news came out, I heard about it later on. I was like, oh, okay, well. So I didn't even bother looking, but I knew gold had dropped. So I'm sorry, oil had dropped. One thing that's interesting, and it is, we are getting to a point where we're going to get to a close on this.
hmm
Whether it's this time or not, it's still, everything is moving. I don't know if you guys noticed the president stated that anyone who sells arms to Iran is going to have a 50% tariff added, right? Because basically we've knocked out all of their arms creation and
hmm
manufacturing ability. And if they can't get them from outside, they can't rearm,
hmm
which is kind of important, So
Yep.
I haven't looked at what they're talking about for agreements and stuff like that. Who knows? And the only thing everybody knows about is Hormuz is supposed to be open.
Yep.
And it's not supposed to be bombs going back and forth. We'll see.
And there's 800 ships waiting to get through.
Yes. So even if this is a pause and everything else resumes later, releasing those ships and all of the crew that's been built up is going to be huge. And it's going to be a breather for the world. So I think in a way that's good. Even if it goes back to being closed or something else happens, it's like, okay, great. We got a little bit more air, right? We refilled the tank. So we'll see. But so
By the way, one of my favorite things in the world is
what's that?
when you open up a chart and you forgot that you had a pending sell, and you look in there and it says 432. I just opened up my gold and a demo trade that I had done. I'm trying to doing a lot more on pending sells and sell limits and buy limits. And I'm trying to do a lot more of just seeing stuff and marking it and just walking away. But I'm not going to lie. Sometimes I forget that I did it. But I trust that I did.
But you're forgetting it on a demo account. You're not forgetting it on a live account.
No, I forgot it on live accounts.
You had me there for a moment. It was like, okay, damn. Oh, demo account. Okay.
No, I have forgot on live accounts too when I initially did it, and then but before I wasn't winning at this rate. I wasn't profiting at this rate. So before I was like, okay, this is good, but you can't not forget about it. And now I'm like, just trust your data, move forward. And my stop losses, instead of doing it, I don't care if I take a loss. I just take less of a loss than I used to take. I'm not setting it I'm setting a stop loss based on something that I'm comfortable with losing, not based on what's recommended.
Interesting.
And that's going to have to change.
That's a huge statement.
Yeah.
I don't know if people understand that, but So what you're saying is, if you're in a trade that, and you're prepared to lose, let's say $1,000,
Mhm.
it doesn't matter what the number is. That would be your worst case. If you lost that, you're okay, and you put a stop loss there. That allows for a whole lot of fluctuation.
Mhm.
And so if the stop loss would have been, say, $50 and you put it at 100 because you're comfortable with that, you're good.
Yeah. The other thing too is on the other side. So if I have, let's say, the recommended stop loss is going to have me lose 1,000, and on this account, I'm comfortable losing 100.
Mhm.
I'm going to set it probably to 100, possibly 150 if I can stomach it. If I think that it's going to go back and forth, if I think there's going to be more fluctuation, but a
Yeah.
lot of times I'm expecting a little bit of a pullback, but I'm only setting these on ones that I'm very confident on that have 3 or 4 confirmations.
Got it.
So I've lost once where it went back and hit the stop loss. It was like a $75 loss. I'm like, whatever. And then the next one hit for 350.
Mhm.
So I'm like, okay, I'm net 275. Like that's fine.
Right. You're gonna
Um,
lose.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen. You just have to win a lot more than you lose.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Yep. And I was just looking to see, I'm like, has Einstein made this call yet? I'm like, not yet.
I love it. So, well, let's go through these, because and I know for instance, we've got a hard stop. Let's say about 10:55 today.
Mhm.
So what I want to do is hit a couple things of where the market. We may jump into a trade, we might not, during this particular episode. But what we do want to do is look at what has changed in the market, and because late yesterday was all fundamentals. Nothing was happening because of technicals, for the most part.
Right.
Right. And this is currencies all across the board. This is the US dollar. This is the NASDAQ, everything. So if I look at the dollar, which this amazes me, by the way, and I'll tell you why in a second, but let me pull this up. I'm going to share my screen on the dollar. I just kind of want to break this down a little.
Yeah.
Because it all ties in, and we're going to have different thoughts on this. But, one of the things that is happening, so the dollar plummeted, huge gap, by the way, here, which that gap is going to end up needing to be filled at some point. It's going to change, but that was just massive as a gap. But I look at what's happening in the world. Like, we had the BRICS currency that was trying to come in and potentially take the dollar off of the global currency. I mean, the US dollar is the global currency. That's been wiped off the map at this point. They pretty much completely backed away from that. They don't have the ability to do it now. But one of the key reasons they don't have the ability to do it is because once this is done in Iran, which is why I don't understand why this dropped like this. But nonetheless, once this is done in Iran, at some point it will be, and there'll be a different, I believe there's going to be a different regime there, which is going to put us in position to not control that oil, but kind of in a way that we are working with Venezuela, right? Which puts almost half of the world's oil within between what we produce, what Venezuela produces, what Iran produces, and even with a lot of the ties that we have in OPEC now, in the Middle Eastern countries, it puts a lot of stock or a lot of control on the oil market in the U.S. hands. So it's not going to be trading on a different currency. It's going to be trading on U.S. dollars. And so I figured that would make the dollar much stronger. And yes, what happened yesterday should have brought us closer to that. So why did it drop? Any thoughts on that?
Well, what's the timing there? You're on the 4-hour.
Yeah.
So was that right at the announcement that it dropped?
So this was at no, this is 3 o'clock.
PM. So that's earlier. But that's 3 to 7, that candle, right?
Oh yeah, this is a 4-hour. Yeah. So yeah, this is that.
Yeah.
So it's probably up here. You could see the market was already trending down.
Yep.
So I think they thought that something was going to be resolved.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that's always a good sign. It's like you can follow the market. Giselle, and I never say his name quite right, but from one of the master traders for Build, and the quest that we're on here is he talked yesterday about the how did he say it? Matter of fact, you know what? I'm going to pull up his quote because I thought it was very poignant. Hold on here. Let's see. Is it in this one? He made a quote about, and this is all yesterday during the market. This is, like I said before, the news doesn't move the market. The market makes the news. Follow the money.
Mm-hmm.
And his statement before that, literally 1 minute before, was, I said on previous sessions that Trump and Iran were cooking a deal. You see the institutional buys before the announcement, and never in history has no bombing been announced or is being announced with anticipation. Right. So and he's Giselle. He comes from is he down in Mexico? Where's he located?
He's from Puerto Rico.
Puerto
I
Rico.
think, but I'm not positive. I'm pretty sure he's Puerto Rico.
So his English is pretty good. It's a little off sometimes, but I caught that and I was like, all right, interesting. But basically, the institution watch the buys and the sells before announcements, because the institutions are already baked in. They already know what's going on. So when we look at these, this was the big drop candle, which happened during the announcement. But look what was happening before. They knew.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So did we know?
Oh, I think there was a lot of indicators that we could have. I mean, think of it like this.
Right.
If you look off to the left a little bit there, Donnie had said on today's Wednesday. So on Monday, he had said, what? There's going to be a massive drop on oil. We're looking for two things. He said, we're looking for oil to hit 119.50, and then we're looking for news. When those two things happen, sell. He's like, that's going to take care of your car for the year.
Yep.
And then yesterday he said 118, and someone corrected him and said, yesterday you said 119.50. He said 118, 119.50. Oil yesterday, just to point this out, at 11 a.m. hit 117.6. Never hit 18
right now. If you can see, and it's it was 117.72 if I got that quite right.
Right, but and that's at 11 a.m. And then, as you said, what started happening? Then it started slightly falling.
Yeah.
So there was indication right then and there, because that was going up, and it was almost like you had it was almost setting up for, well, not quite a rally-based rally, but almost. I don't know. So, I mean, but bottom line is yes, I think there was news right then and there where stuff started being hinting that this is not going to happen. The threat seems so over the top that I assume there was a deal or something happening, because it just seemed like the definition of posturing.
Yeah. It's classic Trump. Have you ever read The Art of the Deal? It's exact. I mean, he goes way over the top. He does it. Business doesn't. He's done it all his life. And he asks for way more than what he wants, and
he uses leverage to get it.
he doesn't get that, but he gets more than what he wanted. It's
right.
It's wild. He's a master at it.
You brought up Art of the Deal, and I'm going to chime in. Have you actually read the book?
I have.
Okay.
Years in fairness.
I read it years ago, and I put it down and I said, "This is idiotic." That was my take at that time.
Okay.
And he didn't write it. Somebody ghost read it. But that was my take. I'm just going to leave that out there. I don't have the same view. But we were talking about the drop in the dollar.
Yeah.
And we were talking about like why.
or in oil in this particular
Yeah.
case.
And did you have the dollar up there before?
I did. Yeah, but I changed
Okay.
it to oil.
Right.
It's just because we were
I
just
know
talking.
where is oil now, yes.
Yeah.
What was the point on the dollar and why would it go down? Is it human confidence? Do people
What was
not
that?
want to have,
I could barely hear you. Sorry.
is it human confidence? Do people not want to have confidence in the US?
Mhm.
Do they want to change the markets
Oh, for the dollar, you mean?
for the
To go
dollar?
back to that?
Yes. Yeah. We're like, why did this happen?
hmm I'd like to know why, because I think it should go the other way. However, it didn't, and I'm curious. But we see that whether it's in the dollar or gold or euro US, it doesn't matter. We see those things. It's like, all right, what caused it? Because if we want to learn how to predict this stuff, we want to learn what some of the causes are. So that's where my head is as I'm learning Forex and I'm learning how to do this. I want to know what causes this. Right. And
Yeah.
technically you can see things, but this is not technical.
No, and I'll say this too on oil, just taking a look at just general patterns and predictions. So the 30-minute, you had a E3 cross form at 7 a.m. It really hasn't taken off because it's a downward trend. But we're floating right around that too. What did Donnie say too about the focus on $93?
Yeah.
We're floating right at that $93 line. It's almost like it's a resistance line.
Yeah.
And he talked about the importance of that number.
And we've gone back to it how many times now?
Yep.
I mean, when we opened this up, it was at 92 when we opened up this podcast, right? And now, granted, yes, is it higher right now? Yeah, it's at 98.763, but it's in that range.
Yep.
It's kind of funny, but
it is. I put a yellow dot. I put a yellow dotted line across at 93, and it's almost as if I put a resistance line or a support line, depending on where the market is, depending on where the price is.
All right, I'm back on dollars. So let me go back to oil here. I'm sorry, I made a mistake. So that's 95.51.
Yep.
Did I do that too? What is this? Now that is an old. I'm just going to get rid of that. 92. That's an old one as well. I'm just going to remove that. Yeah, I didn't put the marker at the 93, but I mean that's and that I told you before that came from Kevin Harrington.
Yep.
He's the one who stated that number, and we've been around that area. So, and we've gone up, we've gone down. So obviously we've been lower than that, depending on the days and where things are. But you could see there certainly was a buildup. And it wouldn't surprise me to see another buildup.
And it's it's scary how much it just uses that line. But the other thing I noticed too is just calling it out for what I'm seeing on the 4 hour. No, on the 1 hour. On the 1 hour, you have a downward trend on an E3 cross tomorrow at 9 a.m. roughly, possibly earlier, possibly a little bit later, but you're going to have the 66 cross below the 200 if everything stays as is. Now we know it's not going to stay exactly as is, but somewhere I'd say between in the overnight hours or very early morning, we can expect to have a downward trend on the E3 cross with the 66 cross and the 200 in a downward trend.
And you're talking about on oil.
I'm talking about on oil that's on the 1 hour.
Yep, I moved to the 1 hour.
Yeah, and the 4 hour, the 200 is still well below. Looks like the 20 is going to cross the 66, but the 200 is still well below, and we're probably not till next week. We'll see how things change, but before we have anything going on there.
My 66. That's my 20. So I want that one blue. I want the.
This is the biggest thing I'm trying to do right now while I'm learning. I'm trying to get my understanding of predictive patterns.
Yep.
and trying to see how, with my limited knowledge at this point, how far ahead can I stay? Because yeah, I'm letting it go, but last night was painful to miss that by an hour because I knew that was coming and I was ready and I just didn't expect it at 6:30. I thought it would still be late. I knew it could happen, but I just expected it would be later because of the drama factor.
Right.
Yep. Yeah. And that I agree. You know, like I'm not sure why I keep losing my colors. I have to keep resetting those, and I've saved it.
Yeah, and upper right under the rhino there, click save.
Okay. Maybe I know I had them saved before because it was always the same, and then it
Yeah.
just started changing. But either way,
I woke up this morning and Einstein was gone.
Einstein was gone.
Yeah, I was able to add it back. I went into scripts and added it back, but that's the first time that's happened since I had it installed.
Okay. And it was interesting because the other thing that we talked about on Tuesday was Bitcoin, right? And we don't have a lot of time, so let's finish up on Bitcoin here, because this is interesting. So what was Donnie saying about Bitcoin?
Two things: turn Einstein on for this,
Yeah. Right.
and go to the 4 hour.
And go to the 4 hour. Yeah.
Hasn't lost on me in the last 3 days.
Wow. And this is a great gain here.
Yeah, I killed Euro USD on that. I got that at the base and rode it all the way up.
Euro USD?
Yep.
Nice.
I took a TP3 profit on it.
Excellent.
I started using my I really wanted to get into my paper trading on right inside of TradingView. And so I started using this here. So it starts, the demo account starts at 100,000. So I'm still I'm pretending it's 250, right? So I had to start off a little smaller as a sell.
Sorry, I just got a Euro USD 4 hour sell. That is a very confident play for me.
The sell that it just called right now.
Yeah.
You're going to do a real trade?
Yeah, I'm adding 2 real trades. One to me, and I'm going to add it to my son's account. If I'm really confident, I'll add it to his account while he's not in the market.
Yeah. Got the level of confidence when you add your kid in there. Absolutely.
Still could fluctuate a little, but I like they're 4 hours. I have more confidence in the 4 hour than the 1 hour.
Do you?
Yeah, a lot more.
So you're, and I don't see the Einstein trade on this one.
It just disappeared.
Oh, there
it is.
All right.
So I'm going to do a TP2. I'm taking TP2 on this, although I'm going to put a marker at TP1 so I know where it is and I can visually see it. But what I mean by that is I'm going to do that because I have to trade this one in Tasty in their web terminal.
Yep.
So I'm going to put at the TP1 just a bar line going across the screen. So if anything does, because right below that, there is a support line in base at 167.09. So that's just below TP01. If it makes it past that, I'm confident it should probably go down to 2, the TP2. But if it doesn't, if it bounces and starts bouncing back off that 167.09, then I'll probably just get out there.
Okay.
I would have liked to catch that a little bit earlier, but I didn't.
So I just took this one on paper.
Yep.
Just because I haven't charted anything, so I'm not going to do anything real unless I'm on, I've charted. But I figured I'd take it and watch and see. So it recommended the stop loss up here. Okay, so that's which I did. So by the way, on point 2, a 0.02, which is where I'd be on this account if this is 250, right? There's not a whole lot of room. So I stand to lose $20 on that side. If I hit my TP2, which is where I put my take profit, I gain $10.42.
Okay.
Right. So, and it's just because the stop loss is so much further away. But
Yeah,
that's
they
what,
want
what it-
1797. I'm not putting mine there. If they want 1797, what I'll look at on this one is the ATR is 33.2. So I will probably 1.5 that. So we'll do that at 50.
okay.
So I won't go that far. I might even do it closer to 33 because I don't think it's going to come that far back. So if I take 17334, 336, sorry, that's still further than I'm comfortable with that. I might even drop it to just beyond the wick. I just set mine to 1724.
Right here.
Now let me go back to your screen because I have to jump between screens. I set it low. I set it just above the wick.
Wow.
And the reason being, I don't care if I take that loss.
Well,
And-
you were
and-
right.
And it's higher than it's. If it's going to go higher than the previous wick, I think it's going to keep on going up. It's going to reverse and go higher. So I'd rather just minimize my loss at that point. If it has to, but that still is beyond that existing wick on the current candle.
Yeah, what I'm doing, so, and because I want to test this too,
Mhm.
right? So when I do, because there's only certain ones that I'm playing in. I'm playing in gold, I'm playing in Euro USD, even whether it's on paper or real. But I am testing out the Einstein stuff. That's one of the things I wanted to do. Now I get in a little bit late on that because the entry was here and I get in here, right?
Yep.
Just that's where it was. So I'm down, you can see down at the bottom, I'm down 16, well, now 4 cents. Now I'm in profit by 10 cents. Okay. So that's all good, but I want to test this and see where my numbers would fall. So that first trade for $3, that was a trade I took that I called. But what you're going to see, what I want to test is Einstein on just gold and Euro USD when I get the opportunity to get in close to where the entry is or at the entry, and just following what it says. And so that's what my paper trade here is going to be, because I also have a paper trade account or demo account in GNT.
Yep.
So that one I'm going to play other stuff with. But this is, I want to run this. So scratch that $3.05 realized P&L, and I want to see where this gets to in a week. So today's Wednesday. So let's see where that number is next week. And I'm not doing a ton of trades just because I don't have the time. I'm not in front of my screen. But when I'm in front of the screen, if I catch an Einstein one, I'm going to take it.
Yeah, my gold sell is up 600 right now.
Nice.
I just took it. I'm out. I'm happy with 6. Yeah, my Euro USD sells, those are both up right now. They're both positive in profit. I've done really, by the way, I would strongly recommend play it with your demo account.
Yeah.
Bitcoin on Bitstamp and play every Einstein 4-hour call.
Well, that's been accurate. How many times? How many days now going on?
Yeah, I've been
Wednesdays. Yeah.
I've had 3 days I've been testing it and it's been great. Highly recommend it.
Nice.
It's like free money. But learn how to, the biggest thing I'd say is, like we've talked about before, learn what your lot sizes are, what you're comfortable doing within Bitcoin, and then go from there.
Yeah. Well, and on basically I'm doing 0.01 per 100, which is about where Donnie was, right? That's what he recommended. So as I move this up, that's exactly what I'm going to do. But I literally want to see by taking the actual trades and then just forgetting about it.
Yep.
Okay. So and just see what happens. I'm up now, and I expect to be up. But if I forget about it, if I leave, because that's sort of my life right now.
Mhm.
I've got so many things going on with multiple companies. I don't have a lot of time to spend here, and I wish I did, because I'm really enjoying this part. I love learning this. So,
Yeah,
but
I could do this all day if I had the time.
oh yeah, definitely. But we are at time today, folks.
Yep.
So you're hearing a little bit about some experimentation, some stuff. Remember, these are not recommendations that we're making to you. We're documenting our journey, documenting our learning journey. And sometimes it's profit. We're playing with real money. So it's not really playing, it's life. And then we're also using paper. But follow along, join us in the quest, q2am.com. Any last comments, guys, before we jump?
The Bitcoin and Einstein, that would be something for people to focus on, because that's really on a win rate right now and been
Yeah.
accurate.
Definitely.
It's again too, like as I said, you join the calls, you copy what he says. Something like this where he's like, it's winning at an exponential rate. He's not going to say that for any reason. This is one of the first times I've ever heard him say that.
Correct.
He said,
Yes.
go to this, go
Yeah.
to this time frame and live by this until I tell you otherwise.
Right.
And I haven't lost yet since Monday.
Gotta love it. That's a way to be in profit.
And we're taking TP2 every time. We're focused on TP2 every single time.
Maybe.
Right. Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Have a fantastic day, all. Get in profit, stay in profit. We'll see you tomorrow.